going on, everybody? It's your guy Realistic here, and I'm doing another tutorial for SoundOracle.net. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things that I do in every single song that I master. But first, before we get into that, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date to videos just like this, and you'll also get tips and tricks directly in your mobile feed if you're subscribed to this channel. So in honor of our brand new online course that's coming out, The Art of Mastering, we wanted to go ahead and put a video out on YouTube and explain some of the really important things that we do when it comes to mastering, something that we don't overlook in any song. It's something that we always do regardless of what the song is. And I know every song is different and we do treat every song different, but believe it or not, there are some things that you do want to do every single time. And they're just some really nice things to set you up for success. So The Art of Mastering is going to be available on SoundOracle.net, just like our other courses. And this one, just like the other ones, is going to be filled with tons of videos and hours worth of content. I believe right now the mark is just over 70 professional mastering tutorials. And we go through, in this course, we literally go through everything that you could possibly think of when it comes to mastering, from phasing issues to headroom to limiters and setting everything up for streaming and LUFS meters. We go through different styles. We go through imagers and widening. We even show you how we master several different genres. We actually dive in there and show you different songs, including a song that I recently got to work on and master for legendary West Coast hip-hop artist The Game. That's inside of the course that's coming up. But anyways, let's actually go over some things that I do in every single master so we can kind of get the gist of how to execute and set ourselves up for success. So the first thing that I do every single master, no matter what it is, I don't pull up an EQ, a compressor, nothing. What I literally do is I hit play and I listen to the song all the way through, and I'll take some notes. So what I'll do is I'll hit play. We'll listen for about 20 seconds. I won't make you sit through the whole song, but you'll get the gist of it, right?
I love when you whine it, but you're more than just a dancer to me. I ask all the questions to your body and they answer. I'ma come and get you in my car. We could go and drink at the wine bar. Feeling like a night out of Paris. I'm your biggest fan, I'm a die-hard. I wanna put my hand on your hips, babe. Monday, Saturday, or Wednesday. I party with the hippies and DJs. I just wanna bring you to peace, babe. Kisses are so euphoric. I'm with it if euphoric. Girl, you look so adorable. No, you would need no more of you. Trying to be so cordial. Let go and dance the night away. I feel the beat, I'm wide awake. I think about you night and day. Lost in the beat, we're miles away. Don't let the moment die in vain. When it come you, I'm high and take. I'm on the east side.
Okay, so we got some notes there. You see, I was just listening. I didn't pull up an EQ or anything like that. I took some mid-rate, some notes here. And what I noticed here was the kick drum is a little heavy here, so it's probably going to impact the limiter a little bit. I noticed that the low mid-range is a little too strong. There's just a little bit, it's just kind of crowded a little bit, so maybe I could clear that up a little bit. I noticed that the high end needs a little bit more sparkle, which is good though. I usually, when I go to master, I usually prefer the mix to be sent to me where it's not overly bright, because we can always brighten it up. So this is a good start. And then I just noticed that there was a little resonating frequency around 180, so we'll probably go and clean that up. Like I said, that's the first thing that I always do is I sit back and I listen. And that right there, that tip, that doesn't matter what genre it is or what song it is. That's something that you can only do it, but you should do it every single song, because there's no harm in literally sit back, listen to it unbiasedly, analyze it, and then listen to what can be fixed, and then go back and start making the changes. Okay, so the next thing that I do on every single master, again, regardless of the genre, it's always good to figure out your headroom. So what I like to do here is I like to kind of find like a little spot where there's a lot of action going on here, and then just kind of see where the headroom is.
I ask all the questions to your body and they answer to me. Whine it, babe, no way, hold you close, love. Whine it, babe, love your frame, hold you close, love. Big up the DJ, heap on the replay. She bring the heat wave and I appreciate. Spirit so gentle, I'm off the handle, you call my mental.
Yeah, this one is pretty much where we would usually recommend somebody to send it at -6 dB. And sometimes what I'll do here is I'll actually go in on the clip gain here, and I may turn it up just a little bit here, just to get a little bit, because it wasn't quite at that -6 dB. And so I'm going to just push this up just a little bit so I can get a little bit more. And this is a thing too, is if somebody sends you something that's a little too quiet, like, let's say they send you something like 10 dB, -10 dB or something like that, we can always turn it up. I usually recommend turning up the clip gain. That way it's going into all the effects that you're going to put on there, like the EQs and stuff like that. So it's going to go into the your insert chain that way. Another thing too is, let's say they send you something that's at like -2 or -3 dB, a little bit more than maybe you would like. You can always turn the clip gain down a little bit so you get that headroom. Now, if they send you something where it's clipping, it's peaking, and it's past zero, then that's when you have to reach out to the person that sent it to you and just ask if they could send you a version with the headroom lowered down, because you'll get a much better master when you do that. So then the next thing that I do in every single master is I listen to a few examples in the same genre that I'm working on. So if I'm working on a trap song, I'll pull in some stuff from like the Baby, Little Baby, Migos, something like that. If I'm working on like an emo trap record or something like that, I'll pull in something by Drake, or something by like maybe Miguel, or something that has like a really washy kind of muffled sound to it. I'll pull in and I'll kind of analyze that. And one thing that I really like too is this is a free plugin here, this Lean loudness meter. So I'll put a link in the description below here. But what's really cool about a plugin like this is we can actually grab a song and drop it in here, and it will analyze the loudness here. So what I'll do is I'll actually throw in a track here. I got a little Latin folder here, so we'll throw this in here. We'll analyze it, and we'll see kind of what levels that they went for. Okay, so on this one here, we see that they went with an integrated LUFS level of -8.8. So maybe for a song like this, maybe that's where we want to try to aim for and try to go for our ballpark for, to try to maybe match the loudness if it's going to be in that genre. And if you're wondering what LUFS are, we do talk about that in the Art of Mastering. We go into that in depth. We talk about why we use this metering. We talk about how to get the most out of it. So, don't worry. All of that stuff is going to be covered. But another thing too, besides just analyzing it, what else I'll do is I'll actually listen to the song. I can't hit play right now because we're on YouTube. And if I hit play on this other song right here, then, they're going to take it down for copyright. But what I'll do is I'll listen to it. I'll kind of notice the things that they're going for. The tones, are they a little heavier in the low end? Do they have a little bit more of a shelved kind of effect on the high end, or what's going on? So I'll actually kind of listen and pay attention. And again, that's something that you can do on every master, is listen to the song, figure out what the genre is, what the style is, and then just give it a listen to what other songs in that genre sound out. You don't have to mimic and copy it exactly, but there's no harm into hearing what other people are doing in that genre, so you can get a good sense. All right, the other thing that I do on every single master is I use some type of visual analyzer. So before, I had already talked about this free plugin, Lean loudness meter. And it will tell us, the integrated LUFS, the short term, the, loudness range. It'll tell us our true peak max here. There's other things too, like it will tell us our dynamics and stuff like that. So I really do like to use some type of visual analyzer so I can tell what's going on with it. Right now, my favorite one is the one by iZotope. This one is called Insight. And the reason why I really like this one is, not only is it going to show me my loudness with the LUFS here, and is it going to show me my true peak here, but it also has, it shows me the sound field right here. So I can see, if it's out of phase. I can also see how mono compatible this is right here, right? This +1, this 0, this -1, this all represents the mono compatibility here. So the closer that we are to +1, the more mono compatible that we are, and the closer that we are to -1 means that it's not going to be very mono compatible. And then we got this little visualizer field right here, right? So we got these angles here, and outside here we got these little 45-degree angles, right? So anything that's in these 45-degree angles is going to tell us that this is out of phase, right? And I do want to note that you could still do this all with free plugins. So we have the U-Lean loudness meter that we could use. This is a free plugin. And then, believe it or not, iZotope actually does have a little free version of their imager here that has the same stuff. It has our little vector scope here that will tell us if things are out of phase, and our little ability if it's mono compatible or not. So you could still do everything that Insight's doing with free plugins. But anyways, the gist of what I'm getting at here is that I like to use a visual analyzer to let me know how loud the record is and how much in and out of phase we are. So let's go ahead and give this a listen here.
Wine it, babe, love your frame, hold you close, love. Big up the DJ, heap on the replay. She bring the heat wave, and I appreciate. Spirit so gentle, I'm off the handle, you call my mental.
Okay, so I haven't put a limiter on this yet, so, you know, we're not, like, going to be super loud here. But if we look here, this track is pretty mono compatible here. We're pretty close to +1, and we're not really dealing with any phasing issues here. You know, if you see some things outside of it, don't freak out too much. You know, we don't want a straight line, because then we're going to just be too centered, and there's not going to be any depth or wideness to it. It's when we start running into issues where we're outside of this vector scope, then we're actually going to start running into those phasing issues there. But let's go ahead and, for instance, we'll put a limiter on here. Fair warning, this is going to get a little bit louder, but now we'll give this a listen to see what our loudness is here, and also just pay attention to what our vector scope is doing down here and if we're mono compatible or not.
Wine it, babe, love your frame, hold you close, love. Big up the DJ, heap on the replay. She bring the heat wave, and I appreciate. Spirit so gentle, I'm off the handle, you call my mental. Don't understand you, roses are good.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty great start here, especially for our phasing and our mono compatibility here. I do see that I'm probably going to have to later on increase the overall loudness, but I would probably do that after I've EQ'd some things and kind of compress some things like that. But again, having a visual analyzer really can set you in the right direction. So those are things that I do in every single master, but I do want to just throw in a little bonus, because I said 5, and I'm going to throw in a 6th one that I usually do here. And I'm saving this for last because I know not everybody has this plugin. This plugin is really cool. Tonal balance control. It's by iZotope. It comes with Ozone. But what I like to do with this here is it's a good reference. This won't actually do anything to change the tone or anything like that. It's just a good reference here to have. So what I can do here is I can set different types of genres of music, and it will you know, switch off the frequency spectrum based on that, right? And what else is really cool too is it allows me to analyze my own song that I want to throw in here. So like that Latin song that I was talking about here, and throw that in there, and now it will reference that. So then what I can do is I can set how I want this the sound, if I kind of want more of a modern sound or something like that. And if I hit play, it's going to analyze. So anything that's within these blocks, it's going to tell me that, you know, we're pretty close. The closer that we are in the center, where this gets a lighter bluish, tealish green color here, that means that we're just dead on accurate and set in there. And then everything either above or below the block is going to tell us that it's either lacking or it's too much.
Wine it, babe, love your frame, hold you close, love. Big up the DJ, heap on the replay. She bring the heat wave, and I appreciate. Spirit so gentle, I'm off the handle, you call my mental. Don't understand you, roses.
So according to this right here would tell us that maybe I need to boost some areas in the high mid-range a little bit more. I may need to boost some areas in the higher frequencies, and I also may need to lower some stuff in the low mid-range. What's cool about this too, though, is, you know, you don't necessarily have to go in and boost the high, boost the high mid, and then lower the low mid. You know, what you may need to do is may need to focus on what is happening too much, right? So for instance, on this track, there was a lot of low mid-range, right?
Wine it, babe, love your frame, hold you close, love. Big up the DJ, heap on the replay. She bring the heat.
So maybe if I tuck down the low mid range and a little bit of the low end right there, maybe if I lower some of the frequencies in that area, it will naturally raise up the high mid and the high frequencies a little bit there. So I just like to use this towards the end. I don't start off using the plugin. I'll get it to what my ears are telling me, and kind of get where my gut's telling me to go, and get a really good sound. And then at the end, I'll kind of reference it and be like, okay, it's telling me there's a little bit too much in the low mid, so maybe I'll go in and adjust that a little bit, and I'll see if I like it. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes, a lot of times, I'll use it and I'll be like, you know what, that was actually pretty helpful. That actually kind of told me exactly where to go with this. And what's really cool too is in the art of mastering, I do have a full 30-minute video on how to use this, including how to zero in frequencies on there, and how you can use this here with other cases of plugins here, so then we can actually EQ and stuff right inside of tonal balance, and that will actually control our ozone plugin and stuff like that. So as I'm making changes inside of the tonal balance here, you can see here that it is indeed moving inside of ozone as well, so then I can kind of make the changes right in there. But anyways, I have, like I said, a full video on that, and we go over everything: soft clipping, exciters, imagers, mid-side compression, bus compression. We talk about if you need outboard gear, and what you can do if you don't have outboard gear, and why you can still be successful if you don't have outboard gear. We talk about how to really listen. We talk about how to even what you should expect out of a mix before you go in and master it. There's just a lot of useful content in that. So I'll put a link in the description below for you to be able to access that course as well. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel. That way you can stay up to date with our latest videos, and also you get tips and tricks directly in your mobile feed. Hey, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel right here so you can stay up to date with our latest videos on mixing, mastering, and production. You can also check out some of our suggested videos here, and here. And of course, if you're looking for premium loops and samples, we got the best on the market. You can check out SoundOracle.net. We got plenty to choose from.